I'm not the type of guy who complains a lot, man. I'm the dude who shows up on time, gets his hands dirty, and doesn't ask for more than respect. My name's Jacob Miller. I'm 34, and I've been a mechanic in Cleveland since I was 19. Grew up on the east side, didn't have much, but I had grit. You know what I mean? For years, I thought I had something solid with my wife, Melanie. We met at a friend's wedding, started dating, and before I knew it, we were married and trying to make something out of nothing. She was a dental assistant over in Shaker Heights, wore scrubs, always smelled like mint, smiled a lot back then, at least in public. But man, I swear to God, living with her started feeling like I was trespassing in my own damn house. She used to be sweet, used to hug me after work, used to sit on the couch with me watching old episodes of The Office. Now, I'd walk through the door after 10 hours under busted transmissions, grease on my hands, back killing me, and she wouldn't even look up from her phone. Didn't say hi, didn't ask how my day went. Just kept scrolling. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. And the food? If there was dinner, it was cold. If it was hot, it wasn't for me. She started saying stuff like, "You're a grown man, you can cook for yourself." Which, yeah, I can, but damn, when you love someone, you show it. You don't serve them leftovers like they're some damn roommate. Sex? Forget it. 3 weeks would go by. I'd try to cuddle her in bed, and she'd move to the edge like I had the flu. And every time I brought it up, she'd throw this line at me like a grenade. "You're just needy. I work too, you know. I'm tired." Tired? Tired of what? Sitting in an air-conditioned office cleaning teeth? Meanwhile, I'm breaking my back on cars, getting yelled at by customers who think YouTube taught them more than I did in 15 years. I go to sleep in silence. Wake up in silence. Even the dog looked confused. The worst part? The way she'd talk to me in public. Like I was stupid. Like I didn't deserve a say. We'd be out with her friends. You know, those stuck-up types who think they're better than everyone because they went to college and sip overpriced wine. And if I said something, she'd shoot me down real quick. Example. I said I was thinking of starting a mobile mechanic service, just on weekends. Her reply? "Babe, you don't have time for that. And who's even going to call some greasy dude with no website?" Everyone laughed. I laughed too. But inside, I wanted to leave right then. She acted like she was stuck with me, like she deserved better. But I was paying rent, covering both car notes, and still handing her $400 a month just so she could treat herself. She never once offered to split bills. And I never asked. I was raised to provide. But damn, I didn't sign up to feel invisible. I remember this one night, cold as hell outside, snow blowing sideways. I got home, wiped off my boots, brought in groceries after a 12-hour shift. I saw she was cooking pasta. I walked up behind her, tried to kiss her neck, just to feel close for once. She jerked away like I was a stranger. Then she turned around and just snapped. "Stop touching me. I don't want you, Jacob. I haven't wanted you in a long time." Just like that. Boom. Like a punch to the gut. And you know what hit harder? She wasn't even yelling from anger. Her voice was cold, like she'd been rehearsing that speech in her head for months. My hands were still full of grocery bags. I dropped them. Pasta sauce jar shattered all over the kitchen floor. The dog barked. She didn't flinch. That night, she left, packed a bag, called her sister, and just walked out like I was some phase she outgrew. Didn't even say goodbye. Just slammed the door behind her. I sat there on the kitchen tile, sauce on my boots, heart pounding like I ran a marathon. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat in silence, man. I looked around that damn apartment and realized it wasn't mine anymore. I had built a life around someone who saw me as a placeholder. All I ever wanted was peace. A soft place to land at night. Someone to hug me without checking the clock. A home that didn't feel like a waiting room. Instead, I got ignored, disrespected, and pushed aside like trash on pickup day. That night, I made a decision. Not revenge. Not hate. Just clarity. I packed a duffel, grabbed my tools, and crashed in my buddy Trey's garage for a few weeks. I didn't chase her. Didn't text. Didn't post nothing on socials. I just disappeared from her world. She thought I'd come crawling back. She thought I needed her. But what I needed was me. And I was going to get that version of myself back. The one I lost tried to keep a woman who already walked away months before she ever packed her bags. That was the last night I ever begged to be loved. The next time she'd see me, I'd be unrecognizable. When a woman doesn't love you anymore, You feel it way before she ever opens her mouth. It's in the way she stops laughing at your jokes, the way her phone's always flipped face down, how she sighs every time you walk in a room like your presence is just another thing she has to tolerate. I felt that for months. I was just too proud, or maybe too scared to admit it. But that night made it real. Loud and clear. It was a Tuesday, cold as hell outside. The kind of Cleveland winter that makes your bones ache even with the heat blasting. I just pulled into the driveway after working an extra shift at the shop because our other tech called out. I had salt stains all over my boots, hands dry and cracked, and my hoodie smelled like diesel and brake fluid. I stopped by the store on the way home, grabbed some groceries, couple steaks, pasta, a bottle of red she used to like. Thought maybe we could actually eat together like we used to. I know, sounds stupid now, but I was holding on to scraps, man. Just wanted one normal night. When I walked in, she was standing in the kitchen in one of those oversized sweaters she always wore. Hair up, socks on, scrolling through her phone with that blank stare. No, hi. No, how was your day? No, nothing. Just silence, and that soft click-click of her thumbs tapping on the screen. I said, hey, babe, walked over, gave her a little kiss on the cheek. She flinched, like I was some stranger begging for change. I said, I thought I'd cook tonight. You in the mood for steak? She didn't even look up. Just said, I already ate. That's when I noticed the takeout container on the counter. Thai food. She never even texted me. Didn't wait. Didn't care. Now, I ain't a hothead. Never been the yelling type. But that night, something in me broke. I put the groceries down, looked at her, and I just asked, what happened to us, Mel? She finally looked at me, but it wasn't love in her eyes. It wasn't even anger. It was disgust, like I was some mold she found growing in the back of the fridge. And she said, with the coldest voice I've ever heard, you happened. This life happened. I don't want this. I don't want you. Boom. Just like that. Like she'd been dying to say it for years, and finally found the guts. My ears were ringing. My face got hot. Not cause I was mad, cause I was humiliated. I was standing there, holding a bottle of wine like an idiot, heart thumping like a war drum. And she just kept going. I don't love you. I don't even like you half the time. You're boring. Predictable. I feel stuck. Every day with you feels like I'm wasting my life. You ever had someone rip your soul out while keeping their voice calm? That's worse than screaming. That's calculated. That's brutal. I stood there frozen. Couldn't move. Couldn't speak. I felt like a man watching his own funeral in real time. She grabbed her purse like nothing happened and started heading for the door. I said, where the hell are you going? She looked over her shoulder and said, out, and don't wait up. I'm done pretending. Then she slammed the door behind her. I didn't chase. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just stood there. The groceries sat on the counter like a bad joke. The wine bottle rolled and hit the edge of the sink. Somewhere outside, the wind howled like it was mourning for me. I finally sat down at the kitchen table, just stared at the spot she was standing in, and I thought, how the hell did we get here? It's wild, bro. You give someone your loyalty, your money, your time, your heart, and somehow you end up being the villain in their story. I used to think being a good man was enough. Pay the bills. Stay faithful. Don't cheat. Be respectful. Work hard. Keep your temper in check. Don't go to bars. Don't gamble. Don't hit her. Don't flirt. Just be stable. But you know what I learned? Stability don't mean SH*T to people chasing chaos. And Melanie? She was craving chaos. She wanted drama, excitement, that adrenaline of a new fling. Meanwhile, I was just trying to keep the roof from leaking and make sure she had gas in the car. The next morning, she didn't come home. I checked her location on Find My iPhone. Yeah, I'm not proud. And she was across town at some condo complex I'd never seen before. Probably shacked up with someone already. Who knows? I turned off location sharing and deleted the app. That's when I knew it was done. No couples therapy. No, we can fix this. She made it crystal. She didn't want me. But you know what at hardest? That part of me that still wanted her anyway. Even after the disrespect. Even after those words. That's the part they don't tell you about heartbreak. Sometimes your heart's dumb as hell. Wants what hurts it. But not mine. Not anymore. That night changed me. Not in a revenge fantasy movie kind of way. Not overnight. It was slow. Like a bruise spreading under your skin. Quiet. Numb. But the man I was, the man who begged for love, who cooked dinner for someone who wouldn't look at him, who kissed the cheek of a woman who flinched at his touch. That man died in that kitchen. And in his place, a man was born who would never beg again. The kind of man who'd build himself brick by brick, not to win her back, but to make sure she'd never recognize what she threw away. So yeah, she shouted it. I don't want you. And trust me, that sentence, it lit a fire in me she ain't never putting out. You ever seen a man break and rebuild himself in the same week? That was me, after Melanie dropped the bomb on me, telling me she didn't want me anymore like I was some old hoodie she was tired of wearing. I didn't argue. Didn't cry in front of her. Didn't punch walls or call her AB*TCH. I just unplugged. I slept on the couch that night. Well, more like laid there wide awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to piece together how the hell I went from planning a weekend cookout to becoming a stranger in my own house. Next morning, she still wasn't back. Her toothbrush was gone. Half her clothes, too. Like she'd pre-packed all this. That's how I knew. She'd been planning to walk out long before she ever said a word. And in that moment, I made one promise to myself. I'm not chasing nobody who walked away like I was nothing. Not her. Not anyone. So first thing I did, I grabbed my phone, called my cousin Brian. He's a paralegal in Cincinnati, been working in family law for years. I told him straight. I'm done, bro. I want a divorce. No drama. Just help me cut this cord and keep my peace. He was quiet for a sec, then said, Damn, Jake, you sure? Yeah, I said. I'm not fighting for someone who already left. He set me up with a lawyer that afternoon. I signed the initial paperwork within 48 hours. Simple as that. No joint accounts, no kids, no mortgage together. Just one apartment lease and a dog she'd already left behind. I let her keep it all. Yeah, everything. The furniture? Hers. The apartment? Hers. The car I co-signed for? Hers. The dog? I didn't have the heart to separate him. And no, it wasn't because I'm some soft dude. It was strategy. See, when you walk away with nothing, they expect you to come crawling back. They think you'll miss the bed, the couch, the comfort. But me? I didn't want comfort. I wanted freedom. So I packed 2 duffels. My tools, a few shirts, some work boots, my old army jacket, and left. I didn't leave a note. Didn't slam the door. I just vanished like smoke. Went straight to Trey's garage out in Parma. Dude I've known since trade school. He had a little pull-out bed in his office next to the lift, and he said I could crash there for a few weeks, no questions asked. That's where I started over. No mattress. No Netflix. Just me, a portable heater, and the sound of ratchets and impact guns echoing off the walls at night. Melanie had no idea where I was. She probably thought I was pacing outside the apartment, calling her, begging her to talk. Hell, she probably expected some big emotional breakdown, some midnight voicemail saying, Please come back, I can change. But nah, my phone, silent. Socials? Wiped. I even pulled a ghost move, blocked her number, deleted our shared cloud account, shut down every digital breadcrumb that pointed to me. I wasn't trying to make a scene. I wasn't trying to win the breakup. I was just trying to breathe without her in my lungs. And it felt damn good. It's crazy how peaceful your mind gets when you cut off the person making it chaotic. At the shop, I told my boss I needed more hours, not for the money, but to stay busy. I worked double shifts, covered Saturdays, even picked up some side gigs after work. Word got around quick. Jake's single and working like a madman. One customer asked me, You on something, man? You've been grinding like you got child support to pay. I laughed and said, Just trying to stay ahead of life, that's all. And every night, after I cleaned up and locked the garage, I'd sit on that fold-out bed, eat a gas station sandwich, and scroll through business forms on my phone, learning about LLCs, mobile auto repair licensing, marketing, all that. I didn't party, didn't drink myself stupid. I focused. Meanwhile, Melanie? Well, I heard through the grapevine that she was showing off some nude dude on her Instagram stories. Tall guy, gym bro type, flashy smile, had his arm around her at some rooftop bar downtown. Probably one of the fun guys she always said I wasn't. But the smile in her photo, it looked forced, like she was trying too hard to prove she upgraded. What she didn't know was, I wasn't even watching. My buddy sent me screenshots, but I never clicked. I wasn't jealous. I was working, building something, getting leaner, stronger, hungrier. 1 week into the silence, she texted from a different number. Hey, can we talk? I didn't respond. A few days later, I think we made a mistake. I miss talking to you. Still nothing. Then came the guilt trip. You can at least be mature and respond. I'm hurting too. That's when I knew the silence was louder than any words I could have said. She expected me to fall apart. But I didn't. I didn't even flinch. I just got real with myself and kept moving. I wake up at 6 a.m., grab a black coffee from Sheets, throw on my hoodie, and get back to the grind. Every dollar I saved, I threw into a savings account. Every free minute, I studied marketing or watched YouTube tutorials on mobile detailing businesses. Because while she was out clinking wine glasses with some new arm candy, I was out here building an empire from a garage floor. You ever seen a man locked in? That was me. And the best part? No revenge posts. No watch me when captions. Just work. Just silence. And that silence? It burned louder than any fight. I knew the day would come when she'd really feel the absence. Not just my voice or my presence, but the security, the loyalty, the energy I used to pour into her like she was a bottomless cup. And when that day came, she'd realize what she walked away from. But by then, I wouldn't even be looking back. Life has a way of kicking your ass before it ever hands you a win. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the lesson buried in the pain. Me? I learned everything I needed to know sleeping on a busted mattress next to a rolling toolbox. While Melanie was out playing cute with some dude who probably still lived with his mom, I was out here stacking bricks. Not physical ones, but mental, emotional, and financial. One by one. You see, I wasn't just working to forget her. I was working because for the first time in my life, I finally understood my value. And I wasn't about to waste another minute trying to prove it to someone who had already made up her mind. I started my mornings at 6 a.m. sharp. No alarm needed. Brush my teeth with cold water from a sink in Trey's garage. Swipe grease off the mirror just to see myself. Ate breakfast bars from the gas station. That was my life. Wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. And slowly, real slow, things started shifting. One of Trey's regulars, a guy named Mr. Lawson, rolled through one day with a busted Cadillac. Older cat, big money, wore tailored suits just to go to the grocery store. He saw me hustling, heard I was sleeping in the back room, and pulled me aside. Said, "You ever thought about starting your own detailing service? You got hands. People pay good money for hands that know what they're doing." I laughed at first. I mean, yeah, I'd thought about it. But I didn't have the startup cash, the branding, the equipment. Hell, I didn't even have a laptop. Just my hands and a phone with a cracked screen. But he looked me dead in the eye and said, "You don't need much. Just need people to trust you'll show up." That line stuck. That weekend, I cleaned his caddy from bumper to bumper. Took me 4 hours in the freezing cold. I didn't even charge him. Told him it was on me. 2 days later, he posted about it on his Facebook. Said I did better work than the dealership. 3 weeks after that, I had 7 new clients. Then 10. Then 15. I was still wrenching full-time at the shop, but now I was detailing cars every evening in people's driveways. Sometimes till midnight. Had a flashlight in my mouth while I scrubbed rims in 28-degree weather. People tipped extra just because they saw I was grinding for real. Trey helped me get an old van off Craigslist. I wrapped it in matte black vinyl, slapped on a logo I made with a $20 app, and boom, JM Precision Detailing was born. Now here's where it gets funny. While I was out hustling, Melanie's new man, the one with the gym selfies and the fake Rolex, was starting to show his true colors. Turns out, he didn't have a job. Said he was in crypto, but really he just sat around in joggers watching Twitch streams and asking people for rides. Melanie went from eating out every weekend with me to covering this dude's Uber Eats tab and pretending she liked IPA just to seem cool. Her IG stories went from rooftop drinks to blurry selfies on the couch with captions like "quality time, smiling face with hard eyes." But the spark was gone. You could see it in her eyes. It was all performative now. A show for her followers. Deep down, she missed the stability, the peace. Meanwhile, I was booked solid. Had a calendar full of appointments, regulars texting me to come back every month, tips rolling in, and I was still saving every cent like I was broke. I kept everything low-key. Didn't post flashy pics. Didn't flaunt money. I wasn't out here trying to win social media. I was just building a real life from the ground up. Then it happened. One of my clients, a real estate guy named Rick, offered me a contract to maintain his whole fleet of showing vehicles. 12 luxury rides. Monthly detail service. Big money. That deal right there changed the game. I quit the shop, went full-time mobile, hired a kid from my old high school to help out, bought a second van, and just like that, I wasn't Jake the mechanic who got dumped anymore. I was a business owner, with my name on contracts, my phone ringing nonstop, and I did it all without making a single post aimed at her. No, look at me now. No subtweets. Just grind. But guess what? The silence reached her anyway. Mutual friends started telling me she was asking about me, saying stuff like, "Wow, Jake's doing well, huh?" One even told me she was surprised. I bounced back so fast. Of course she was. She thought I'd fall apart. She thought I needed her. She thought I was weak. But let me say this loud and clear. Sometimes silence is the loudest comeback you can make. She started watching my stories. I'd post a clip of me detailing a Range Rover at 6 a.m., Drake playing low in the background. Nothing flashy, just steady work. She'd watch it within 2 minutes every time. Then she'd like an old post. Then another. Then one of those subtle DM replies like, "Wow, look at you clapping hands, try to ease her way back into my orbit." I didn't respond. She wanted to circle back once life slapped her in the face. Once the excitement wore off and the bills piled up. Once the man she ditched everything for turned out to be a lazy, broke fraud with a six-pack and no goals. But me? I didn't need to get even. Because I got better. Life humbled me first. Took everything. Stripped me bare. But I leaned into it. Learned from it. Used it as fuel. And her? Well, life humbled her too. She went looking for shiny things. But what she really needed was solid ground. And by the time she realized that, I was already too far gone. People always say, just wait, your time will come, but nobody ever talks about what happens when it finally does. Like, what do you do when the same hands that once shook while signing divorce papers are now signing checks with 5 digits on them? That was me, man. Just a blue-collar dude from Cleveland who used to hand-wash cars in folks' driveways after pulling 10-hour shifts. And now I run a detailing company that pulls 6 figures annually and feeds 4 other families besides mine. But let me tell you how it actually happened. Not the Instagram version, not the overnight success BS. I'm talking about the real, ugly, scrappy grind that nobody sees, but everybody eventually envies. So we left off with me working crazy hours, detailing cars till my fingers cracked, still sleeping in the back of Trey's garage, right? Well, that hustle, it started catching eyes. Clients started leaving 5-star reviews online, tagging me in local Facebook groups, telling their neighbors. And the real breakthrough? A local TikToker with like 250K followers posted a time-lapse of me restoring her filthy white Jeep. She captioned it, "Support your local grinders, flex biceps medium skin tone, at JM Precision." That video hit 300K views in 2 days. After that, my phone turned into a damn slot machine. Ping after ping. Bookings, referrals, messages asking if I did ceramic coating, headlight restoration, interior shampooing. I didn't even know how to do half that stuff, so I learned fast. Watched YouTube vids while I ate gas station sandwiches. Took online courses late at night. I even bought an ebook from this dude in Texas who built his mobile detailing business out of his truck bed. Every dollar I made, I reinvested. Equipment, chemicals, branding, insurance. No Gucci belts. No dumb gold chains. Just pressure washers and polishers. Then I made the best move I could have ever made. I hired Marcus, this 22-year-old kid who used to bag groceries with me back in high school. He was hungry, humble, didn't mind scrubbing mats at 6 a.m. in 30-degree weather. Said he wanted to learn how to run a business one day. I said, then let's build one together. We split the schedule. I took weekday jobs, he handled weekends. And soon, one van wasn't cutting it. So I found a deal on Facebook Marketplace, a 2013 Chevy Express, 90K miles, clean title, guy was retiring. I paid cash. Wrapped it in our matte black and red logo. Bought another vacuum, another pressure washer, and put Marcus in the driver's seat. Boom, 2 vans on the road. Bookings flying in. Customers tipping big just because they liked our story. You know how many people told me, it's rare to find folks who still show up on time and do a damn good job? That was our brand. Just be dependable. Then, one day, I'll never forget this. I'm working on this Porsche Cayenne out in Westlake, right? And the owner comes out, mid-40s guy, rich, wore a golf polo like he just came from hitting 18 holes. He looks around and says, "This is your company?" I nod. He goes, "Ever thought about offering maintenance plans to dealerships or leasing companies?" I said, "Not yet, but I'm all ears." He hands me his business card. VP at a car rental chain with 10 locations across Ohio. Wants to outsource regular detailing for fleet vehicles. I'm talking 60-plus cars per month, rotating inside and out. Long story short, after 3 weeks of negotiating and tweaking our service packages, I signed a $92,000 annual contract. That was the moment. The moment it hit me that I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was winning. Quietly, consistently, without posting thirst traps or begging for validation. I was building something real with my own 2 hands. And here's the part that still blows my mind. The exact same week I signed that contract, Melanie messaged me again. This time from her personal email. Subject line, "Hey stranger, body, I saw your post on Facebook about the new vans. I'm really happy for you. I know things ended messy, but I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. Maybe we could catch up sometime. I'd love to hear about everything you've built." Man, I just sat there and stared at the screen. Not angry, not smug, just amazed. Amazed at how full circle life can go. She wasn't proud. She was curious. She wanted a window seat to the glow up. The same man she once mocked, the one she said was just a greasy dude with no future, now had employees, a payroll, business insurance, and a team uniform with his own last name on the sleeve. You think I responded? Hell no. I didn't even open the message again. I archived it, poured myself a cup of black coffee, and kept it moving. 'Cause that email wasn't for me. It was for the old version of me, the one who used to ache for her attention. He was dead, buried under 100 cars worth of hard work and grit. My revenge? It wasn't loud. It wasn't petty. It didn't involve public shaming or look at me now TikToks. It was watching people who once looked down on me now look up to me, literally and figuratively. It was hiring guys who reminded me of my younger self and giving them a shot no one ever gave me. It was driving past that old apartment building where she screamed she didn't want me. Now, in a brand new F-150 with my logo on the tailgate, blasting Kendrick and singing like a man who finally found peace. It was pulling into driveways where Range Rovers sat next to Audis, and homeowners handed me hot coffee and said, "Thank you for being early." That's what success really is, man. It's not fame. It's not flexing. It's freedom. Freedom to live how you want. Work with who you respect. Wake up with no knots in your stomach. Eat what you want, tip how you like, and sleep like a baby because your conscience is clean. And Melanie? Well, she's still watching. Still lurking. Still trying to figure out how I turned the dirt she threw on me into soil. But it's too late for her now. That door's not just closed, it's bricked over. No hate. No hard feelings. Just distance. Permanent distance. It's crazy, man. How fast you get used to dysfunction. How normal it starts to feel being talked down to walked over, dismissed like your voice don't carry weight. You go through enough nights where someone makes you feel small, and eventually you start believing maybe you are. That's where I was after Melanie. Even after the business took off, the money got right, and I had 2 vans running a full schedule, and people calling me sir, I still felt empty sometimes. Still caught myself hesitating before speaking, like I was waiting for someone to cut me off or roll their eyes mid-sentence. That kind of damage don't just fade. But then she came along, not in some rom-com way, not some dramatic moment in the rain or cute run-in at a bookstore. Nah, it was regular. So regular it almost felt unreal. Her name was Autumn. I met her detailing a Tesla Model Y. White, damn thing was spotless even before I got there. She was a nurse. Pediatric ICU over at the Cleveland Clinic. Single. Lived in a townhouse on the west side. When I pulled up, she came out in scrubs, hair tied back, eyes tired but kind. I said, "I'm Jacob. Thanks for booking with us." She smiled and said, "Thank you for being early." Most guys show up late and act like they're doing you a favor. Something about the way she said it. No sass, no shade, just honest. It hit different. She respected time. That told me a lot right off the bat. I got to work while she went inside, and after about 20 minutes, she brought out a coffee. Not just any coffee, black, hot, the exact way I drink it. I hadn't told her. She just guessed. Said, figure a guy working in this cold probably don't mess with lattes. We talked. Not a lot, just casual. She asked questions like she actually cared, not like she was making small talk to be polite. Was this your dream? Owning your own business. That one caught me off guard. Most people ask how much I charge. She asked why I started. I said, no, it wasn't a dream. Just didn't want to keep fixing other people's mess for 20 bucks an hour. She laughed. Not the fake kind. The kind that makes you feel lighter just hearing it. After I finished the detail, she tipped me more than I expected. Said, don't take this the wrong way, but it's rare seeing a man take that much pride in his work. That stuck with me. Pride. Respect. She saw it. Next week, she booked again for her neighbor's car this time. Said she recommended me and offered to let me park in her driveway again. Then she invited me in for dinner. Nothing fancy, just leftover lasagna she made the night before. Told me she didn't like eating alone after long shifts. I was hesitant. Last time I got close to someone, they threw me out like a clearance item. But Autumn? She didn't push. Didn't flirt heavy. Just talked. Like we'd known each other for years. She asked me what kind of music I liked. I told her old school R&B and 90s rap. She smiled and said her dad used to bump the same stuff on the way to school. We talked about everything. Not just surface level stuff, either. Real things. Like how I never got to finish community college because I had to help my mom after my pops died. How she once had to perform CPR on a 3-year-old and cried in the supply closet after. How we both hate fake people and miss how life used to feel slower before social media turned everything into a performance. There was no rush, no games, just two people sharing space and breathing easier around each other. We started seeing each other weekly. Then almost every day, I'd swing by after details and she'd have dinner ready. Some nights we just sat on the couch. No talking, just comfortable silence. She never asked me for anything. Never expected me to entertain her. Just wanted me there, present. And for the first time in years, I felt like a man again. Not a wallet, not a doormat. A man with thoughts, feelings, purpose. She'd say things like, I'm proud of you, or you're really good at what you do. And she meant it. She wasn't gassing me up. She wasn't trying to get something out of me. She just saw me. She never once brought up my ex. Even when I slipped and mentioned the divorce, she didn't dig for drama. Just nodded and said, some people don't know how to handle something solid. She let me heal in peace. Gave me space to figure myself out without making me feel like a project. And in return, I showed up for her too. Ran her errands when she was on double shifts. Changed her oil, rotated her tires, brought her soup when she caught the flu. Not 'cause she asked, not 'cause I felt obligated, but because it felt good to give again, to care again, in a place where it was received, not rejected. One night, she told me something that broke me a little. She said, you don't flinch when I talk. Most men either talk over me or check their phones mid-sentence. That's when I realized she'd been through her own version of pain too. Different wounds, same weight. We weren't trying to fix each other. We were just trying not to bleed on each other. And you want to know the most healing part? She never made me feel like I had to prove anything. Not my worth. Not my loyalty. Not my love. She just made room. Room for me to exist without having to shrink or explain myself. And that's rare. Because when you've been with someone who treated you like a placeholder, being with someone who sees you like a home, it changes everything. And Melanie? Yes, she saw the shift. She started lurking harder, watching my stories within seconds, liking pictures of me and Autumn at the lake, at food trucks, on Sunday walks with no captions. She probably expected me to flex, to post some corny, look what I got now quote. But I didn't. I didn't need to prove a damn thing. Because Autumn wasn't part of some revenge plot. She was the proof that peace was possible after hell. That real love doesn't yell or leave when things get quiet. It just stays. Soft. Consistent. Safe. And for a man like me, that was the biggest win of all. You ever watch someone try to slide back into your life real slow? Like they're hoping you forgot the way they treated you? That's exactly what happened with Melanie. But the thing is, I didn't forget. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't mad. I wasn't holding some grudge like a high school breakup. I was just done. Like emotionally closed for business when it came to her. But people like her, they don't think you ever really walk away. They assume you'll be stuck in the same place they left you. They think you'll stay broke, stay soft, stay broken. And when they finally realize you didn't, that's when the regret starts showing up in weird little ways. It started simple. I had just posted a photo on Facebook, nothing crazy. Just me and Autumn at a car show downtown. She was in jeans and a ball cap, laughing at something I just said, and I was holding a coffee with my arm around her. Real normal. No quotes, no thirst traps. Just life. The comments blew up. Not 'cause people knew me from social media. I wasn't famous or nothing. But folks who used to know me from school, from the shop, from the old neighborhood, they started saying stuff like, "Bro, is that your mobile detailing business? That's wild, man. You really built that from scratch. I remember when you were sleeping in Trey's garage. Look at you now. Tell him to write a book." I'd read that in a day. Autumn shared the post to her page, too, and wrote something simple but powerful. "Proud of you every day. The way you show up for people is rare." That post got shared 4 times and ended up on the feed of, you guessed it, Melanie's sister, who still followed a few of my old friends. From there, it was only a matter of time. I didn't find out right away. But a week or so later, Marcus, the kid I hired who was now managing one of the vans, told me, "Yo, did you see your ex lurking on our company Instagram?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, bro, she like 3 old posts back to back, detailing jobs from like 2 months ago." I checked later that night, and yep, there she was. No profile pic, new username, but same followers, same weird caption energy. She had reactivated her IG and was now watching all our stories within minutes. At first, I laughed, because honestly, what was there to say? This was the same woman who once rolled her eyes when I said I wanted to start a weekend detailing hustle. The one who said nobody would call some greasy guy with no website. Now here I was, with 2 fully wrapped vans, a company site, booked out schedules, and 3 employees. Meanwhile, she was watching from the sidelines, probably wondering how the hell all this happened without her. But what really flipped the switch was when she started commenting. At first, real subtle, on a post showing a side-by-side transformation of a black Escalade. "You've always had a crazy work ethic. Glad to see you winning." Then a few days later, on a team photo where we were donating free services to a local shelter. "This is amazing. I always knew you had a good heart." I didn't respond. Not because I was trying to be mean, but because there wasn't anything to say. That door was shut, locked, reinforced. But that silence? It hit her harder than any comeback I could have posted. People underestimate how loud your absence can be when they're finally ready to hear your voice again. About a week later, I got the message. It wasn't a DM. She emailed me. Not some essay or apology letter. Just a simple subject line. "Hey." Inside it said, "I know this is random, but I saw the stuff you're doing and just wanted to say congrats. You've really turned into someone impressive. I miss talking to you sometimes. Hope you're well." No mention of what she did. No responsibility. No, "I'm sorry for how I treated you." Just a little reach, trying to dip a toe in the water, see if I'd bite. But I didn't. Because that email wasn't about me. It was about her. About her needing to feel like she could still access something she threw away. And I wasn't giving her that satisfaction. I left it on read. The next time I saw her name was in a comment under Autumn's post about our anniversary. Just a pic of us at a cabin in Vermont. Nothing showy. Just 2 people drinking cider, sitting by a fire, enjoying peace. And Melanie had the audacity to comment. "Glad he finally found someone who supports him." Like she wasn't the same woman who made me feel like my goals were trash. Like she didn't scream in my face that I was a waste of her time. That's the kind of revisionist history people love to write once they realize they bet on the wrong future. She didn't want support. She wanted credit. She wanted to be able to say, "See, I knew he'd be successful." Like she had anything to do with it. But you know what really made it full circle? A mutual friend hit me up and said, "Hey, I don't know if you care, but Melanie's been talking to people. She told someone at the clinic that leaving you was the worst decision she ever made." I didn't react, just nodded. Because truth is, I didn't need her to say it. I'd already seen it. Regret lives in the silence. In the way someone watches every story but never reaches out directly. In the way they like a photo but never ask how you really are. And you know what I realized? Revenge doesn't have to be explosive. It doesn't need to be loud or messy or public. Sometimes the best revenge is just moving so far forward that the person who once called you nothing has to watch you become everything they ever said you couldn't be. And knowing I became that man without losing my soul, without changing who I was at the core, that's the most powerful feeling in the world. It was just another Wednesday for me. Cold outside, wind sharp like it had something personal against your skin, and I was standing in my new office, a modest little spot I rented right behind the main strip in Parma. Brick walls, secondhand desk, fridge full of water bottles, and black coffee pods. My detailing vans were lined up out front, cleaned and fueled, ready to roll out. Marcus and Trey were already outside prepping for their first run, ceramic coat job, on a black Escalade. Me? I was inside printing invoices and sipping hot coffee. Peaceful morning. No chaos. No noise. And then I saw her, standing right outside. Alone. Same coat she wore the last Christmas we spent together. Hair pulled back messy, like she hadn't planned to be out in public. Her face was puffy, not just tired but wrecked, like she'd been crying for hours. She was holding something. Looked like a photo album. And she wasn't knocking. She was just standing there, motionless, staring at the door. I stood still too, watching her from the side window, the one she couldn't see me through because of the glare from the sun. And for a minute, I didn't even feel anger, just disbelief. After all this time, after the months of silence, the emails, the likes, the comments she thought I didn't notice, now she shows up with no warning, no text, no reason, just sadness and a damn photo book in her hands. It felt surreal, like watching a ghost walk into a place it no longer belonged. I didn't move, didn't open the door, didn't even flinch, because I knew exactly what this was. It wasn't love. It wasn't closure. It wasn't accountability. It was desperation. You could see it all over her face, the way she kept glancing at the office sign, biting her lip, wiping tears with her sleeve. Like she thought maybe if she just showed up, it would undo the words she screamed in that kitchen. Like maybe I'd forget how she walked out like I meant nothing. And the photo album? I could guess what that was. Probably old pictures of us. Vacations we scraped pennies for. Birthday parties. Maybe the note I wrote her on our second anniversary, the one she used to keep in her nightstand back when she actually looked at me like I mattered. But see, that version of me? He was gone. The man who used to ache for her attention had been replaced by one who knew his value. So I stood behind that window, sipped my coffee, and watched. She paced, sat on the curb, hugged that photo book to her chest like it was all she had left, like she was begging the air for strength to go in. But she never knocked. Not once. Just sat there, face red from crying, boots tapping against the cold concrete. I could hear Marcus's voice outside with a client, laughing, talking about how proud he was to work here. And I thought, funny how life circles back around. Huh? Because not long ago, I was the one sitting alone, holding on to memories. I was the one standing in the middle of silence, wondering if I was worth keeping. Back when she made me feel like I was disposable, like I was boring, predictable, a waste of her time. But now she was the one stuck outside my life, looking in, crying like she'd only just realized what she lost. It's wild how people only recognize your value once you're no longer accessible. She stayed out there almost 30 minutes. Didn't check her phone. Didn't move much. Just stared at the ground, flipping through the album, crying like she thought the sidewalk could fix what she broke. And the whole time, I stayed still. Because that was the real revenge. Not screaming. Not confronting. Not giving her a speech about how she messed up. Just staying silent. Choosing peace over performance. Because if I had opened that door, what would have happened? She would have cried, apologized without really meaning it, tried to throw old memories at me like they could cancel out the damage. She would have said things like, I didn't know what I had, or I was confused, or worse, can we at least talk? But what do you say to someone who lit your house on fire and came back because they missed the warmth? You don't say anything. You watch from behind the glass, sip your coffee, and let them feel the cold they left you in. At some point, she finally stood up, Wiped her eyes, looked at the building one last time, then walked away, still hugging that album like it could rewind time. I didn't run after her. I didn't even breathe hard. I just turned around, walked back to my desk, and got back to work. Because that moment, that was the closure. It wasn't the apology. It wasn't the breakdown. It was the silence. It was me choosing not to open the door. Not because I hated her, but because I finally loved myself enough not to invite chaos back in. I'd spent too long rebuilding, brick by brick. Early mornings, late nights, long drives, burnout muscles. One detailing job at a time, one lesson at a time. I had peace now, a woman who respected me, a team that looked up to me, clients who trusted me, a life that was mine, not shared with someone who treated love like it was optional. And no amount of tears, photo albums, or curbside regret was going to make me risk that. So yeah, she showed up crying. She thought maybe there was still a space for her. But what she didn't understand is that space was sealed off the moment I realized I was never the one who was small. She just couldn't see past her own reflection long enough to recognize my worth. And the best part? I didn't have to block her. I didn't have to tell her off. I just let her sit there, let her feel what I once felt. And I kept moving forward. It had been months since she showed up at the shop. That day she stood outside with the photo album. That was the last physical glimpse I had of Melanie. I didn't reach out, didn't chase her down. I just kept doing what I've been doing, building, growing, staying grounded in my new life. Truth is, after you've been through the kind of heartbreak that breaks a man all the way down, you start recognizing peace like it's oxygen. And once you've had a taste of peace, you don't ever want to breathe chaos again. Autumn and I were doing good, real good. Simple nights, home-cooked meals. She'd sit on the couch doing charting on her iPad after a long shift, and I'd be beside her sketching new wrap designs for the vans or checking invoices. Some nights, we didn't even talk much. Just knowing she was there, that was enough. No tension, no walking on eggshells, just ease. My business was in the best shape it had ever been. Had contracts lined up, even started looking at a third van. Marcus was stepping up into a team lead role. I finally had the money to take my mom out to dinner somewhere nicer than a diner. Just the two of us. No coupons, no splitting the check. I was healing, living, winning, not to prove anything, but because I'd finally found my lane and stayed in it. Then one night, out of nowhere, right after I'd finished cleaning up the kitchen, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Ohio area code. I opened the message. I don't even know if this number still works. But I just had to try. I've been thinking about us. About everything. I miss it. I miss you. And I'd give anything to go back and make it right. I stared at it for a second. Heart didn't race. Palms didn't sweat. That was new. I scrolled back, double-checked the number. Wasn't saving my phone anymore, but I knew the tone. I knew the way she used words like bait. The phrasing was familiar, soft, heavy with emotion, no ownership. Just nostalgia, dressed up as regret. There was no, I'm sorry I hurt you. No, I was wrong for how I left. Just I miss us. Funny how people only talk about us when they're finally on the outside of it. When it's convenient. When the silence becomes too loud and the loneliness starts making them romanticize the same man they walked away from like he was disposable. Back then, she shouted in my face that she didn't want me. Told me I was boring. That every day with me felt like a mistake. And now she misses us. There was no us when I was sleeping in a garage. No us when she ignored me at the dinner table like I was furniture. No us when she paraded some half-broke gym guy around like a trophy while I was working 3 shifts trying to pay her car note. Now that the money's right, the peace is real, and the love I give is being received by someone who never once made me feel small. Now, there's an us. Nah, I put the phone down. Walked outside for a second. Cold air hit my face like clarity. I looked up at the sky. No stars that night, just heavy clouds. But man, it felt good out there. Quiet. Honest. I came back in, sat on the couch, and drafted one simple reply. There's no us. There's you crying. That was it. No paragraphs. No breakdowns. No chance for her to twist it into a conversation. Just truth. Short and sharp like a clean blade. I hit send, then blocked the number, deleted the thread, sat back and exhaled like I'd just taken a weight off my soul. Because the truth is, she didn't miss me. She missed the version of me that tolerated being dismissed. She missed the steady hand she could slap away and still expect to be held by. The man who gave endlessly and only asked for honesty in return. The safe place she abandoned because she thought the streets had more excitement. She didn't miss Jacob. She missed access to me. And that's where people get it twisted. See, forgiveness don't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it means setting a boundary so strong that even your own past can't cross it. You don't get to make me feel like I'm not enough and then come back when you see that I was always more than enough. You were just too blind to see it. Autumn came out of the bedroom a few minutes later, asked if everything was cool. I smiled, nodded, pulled her close. Yeah, everything was more than cool. Because I had clarity now. Peace wasn't a place I was trying to get to anymore. It was the space I was protecting. And Melanie? She became just another lesson. Not one I hated, not one I dwelled on, just one I learned from. A reminder that not everyone who had access to your heart deserves a second key. And sometimes the coldest revenge isn't fire and fury. It's walking away so completely that your name turns into a closed chapter they have to reread in silence. It's funny how quiet life gets when you finally cut the noise. No more checking your phone for drama. No more late-night fights about nothing. No more wondering if someone you love even likes you. Just quiet mornings, steady work, good meals, deep sleep, real love. That's my life now. I wake up next to Autumn most days. She's usually curled up under one side of the blanket, breathing soft, hair messy, the way women look when they're at peace. We don't rush the mornings. I make the coffee while she feeds the cat. We don't say much, just small smiles, eye contact, maybe a joke about the weather or how much gas had gone up again. It's not flashy. It's not some fairy tale. It's real. We've been together for over a year now. She still wears those hospital clogs and messy buns. Still brings home snacks from a nurse's lounge like I'm some big kid. Still reminds me to stretch my back and drink water when I get too deep into work. And me? I still open her car door. Still wash her ride once a week, even if it doesn't need it. Still leave little notes in her lunchbox when she's on a double shift. We're partners, teammates, lovers, best friends. And the crazy part? It all feels easy because when you're with someone who sees you clearly, not as a fixer-upper, not as an ATM, not as a placeholder, but as a whole human being, love becomes soft and strong. At the same time, the business? It's booming. 3 vans on the road now, 12 regular contracts, a waiting list for first-time clients. I got an office assistant now. Sarah keeps my schedule tight and my invoices cleaner than I ever could. Marcus is managing a full team. We just signed a detailing deal with a local dealership chain. That alone pays the rent on the shop. And that little shop, I bought it. It's mine now. No more renting. No more scraping. No more almost. Just ownership. Built from nothing. Earned the hard way. My mom? She's retired. Fully. I pay her rent, got her out of that rundown complex and into a quiet senior apartment with a porch and enough room for her books. She calls me just to say she's proud. And every time I hear her voice, I remember the nights I cried alone in Trey's garage, wondering if any of this was ever going to be worth it. Now I know it was. Every breakdown, every rejection, every cold night and silent morning. It was all building me into this man I am now. And Melanie? Well, life caught up to her. Not all at once. Not in a fireball. Just slowly. That new guy she left me for? Gone. Apparently, he started dating one of her co-workers, cheated on her, drained her savings trying to invest in crypto, then ghosted. She had to move back in with her sister for a while. Started working 2 part-time jobs, neither with benefits, just to keep up with car payments and rent on a studio apartment with no AC. I didn't ask for any of that information. I just heard it from mutuals. It found its way to me like everything does. Word travels faster when people start regretting how they treated you. But I never reached out. Not once. Because the version of me that used to ache for her validation, he's gone. Buried beneath hard work, real love, and peace I'll never risk again. I saw her once by accident. It was at a grocery store off Pearl Road. I was picking up flowers for Autumn and some steaks for the weekend. She was in line ahead of me, fumbling with coupons, looking tired, like she hadn't slept right in weeks. She turned, saw me, froze. I nodded. That's it. No words, No stare down, just acknowledgement. And you know what I saw in her eyes? Shame, not anger, not hope. Shame. She knew. She knew she had me fully, deeply, completely, and she tossed me aside like I was nothing. And now, she was face to face with what nothing turned into. I didn't feel good about it. Didn't smirk. Didn't flex. Didn't gloat. I just felt done. That chapter closed. Not out of hate, but out of healing. Because the truth is, I don't hate her. I don't spend my nights plotting revenge or wishing her misery. That's not what real men do. That's not what healed people do. I just understand now. I understand that some people aren't built to love solid things. They crave drama. They chase chaos. They confuse butterflies with anxiety and think peace is boring. And that's okay. She can have her journey, her mistakes, her regrets. But she'll never have access to me again. Because what I built, what I rebuilt, it's sacred now. This peace, this love, this life, it cost me everything I had. And I'm not renting it out for cheap. So when people ask me now, you ever think about her? Wonder what could have been? I tell them straight. Nah, what could have been would have ruined what actually is. And what I have now, it's everything.